Introducing my husband of 37 years this year. That is. And he is a lifetime learner and teacher. That is absolutely true. He's always reading something mystical and metaphysical, and he also teaches music, and he's also a good teacher on the microphone here today. So let's have a hand for Mr. Barry Cahill.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Well, the July theme is taking the deep dive, and we're going to do that today. My talk today is the spirit of true independence, independence from tyranny of the mind. Now, during this week, really all the way up until Friday and today, our thoughts turn to the founding fathers, to fireworks, barbecues, picnics, and the real meaning of American independence. This thing was going around about 10 years ago, and I think it was just brilliant, so I'm going to read from this. Have you ever wondered what happened to the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence? What kind of men were they? 24 were lawyers and jurists, 11 were merchants, 9 were farmers, men of means, well-educated. But they signed the Declaration of Independence knowing full well that the penalty would be death if they were captured. And in fact, 5 signers were captured by the British as traitors and tortured before being hanged. 12 had their homes ransacked and burned. 2 lost their sons serving in the Revolutionary Army, and another 2 had their sons captured. 9 of the 56 fought and died from wounds or other hardships of the war. So, where do we go with that? Gratitude is the only place to go. We are so grateful for their sacrifice. And, you know, as Napoleon said, those who refuse to learn the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. Freedom is never free. We have constantly in this country had to fight to preserve it. And we should be grateful for the people who did that too, whether it was the World Wars, the Civil War, all of the civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, etc. We have always had to keep the pressure on because there are those who would take away our freedom. And let's remember that in a spirit of gratitude as we go forward. Now, that's not what my talk is about today, but because we are here on the 4th of July weekend, I thought it was worth mentioning. What I want to talk about today is a deeper kind of independence from the tyranny of our own minds. Buddha said something really succinct and brilliant. He said, enlightenment is the end of suffering. If you're still suffering, you're not enlightened. If you're not suffering, you've crossed that threshold. By saying what it is not, he didn't make it into a superhuman goal to achieve sometime in the future. You don't have to walk on water, heal the sick, raise the dead to be enlightened. I do believe that's within our human potential. However, the first step across that line is, oh, I just realized I'm at peace. I'm not suffering anymore. You know, pain is going to happen in this world, isn't it? But you don't have to suffer. Suffering is a mental thing. He also was very big on the idea of being in the present moment. Being here and now. In the study of all things, spiritual, metaphysical, psychological, philosophical, the subject is often overlooked or just touched upon lightly, but I believe it's the very linchpin of the whole thing. It's what holds the entire spiritual progress forward together. You know, if one gets this one thing right, of being present, of being here, of being now, and being focused, the rest of it will tend to fall into place. So this is part of the thing that we want to achieve freedom from the tyranny of, is the illusion of time. Just as a quick aside, for you, where is the past? Point to it. Just think about it. Where's the past? Is it back there? Is it over here on that part of the timeline that goes like this, or from your perspective like this? Remember the old number line in math class? Negative numbers, 0, positive numbers. Does it go like that for you? Time is a mental construct. The only time there really is now. Really? Well, what about July 4th of last year? When you were experiencing July 4th of last year, that was now. At this point in time, it's only a memory. It no longer exists. The past only exists as a memory, and the future exists only as an imagination. Yes, we need clocks, we need calendars, appointment books, etc. because of the social contract. If we're going to catch an airplane, we need to know, okay, the airplane leaves next Friday at 5 p.m. Might want to jot that down on my calendar. Yes. And when we get on the airplane, it will be now. We won't get on the airplane in the future. The future will simply arrive as yet another part of the eternal now moment. You might want to think of time, instead of being a number line that goes either this way, forward and back, or like the old math number line, you might want to think of it kind of like a sphere that radiates outward, and you're at the center of it, and the now is at the center of it. And as time goes on, that now moment gets bigger and bigger until it encompasses the entire universe. Or maybe not. Yes, we have the necessity of time for planning. You know, we all agree that service is here 10 o'clock Sunday mornings, right? And once we get here, that's now. But some people live in what I like to call psychological or mental time. And this can be really tyrannical for a lot of people. They live in the past, you know, they think about their regrets, their missed opportunities, their resentment or anger about something that happened, something someone did to me. Maybe they have sadness, feelings of loss, or maybe just a kind of a background nostalgia for the good old days. Some people live in the future. They live in this magical tropical paradise called someday I'll. Someday I'll win the lottery and I'll be really happy then. Someday I'll find that person to fulfill me and complete me. Or someday I'll find the perfect job, the perfect career, the perfect car, the perfect pet. Or I'll live in the perfect town. Someday. But here's the problem. With either of those two, psychological or mental time constraints, we miss out on what is happening here and now. You know, some people, they're so obsessed about the future, they pursue their goals with nose to the grindstone, grim determination. Missing all the while what's happening, the beauty of this moment, stressing themselves out to an early heart attack. And why do we do this? Well, it really boils down to one thing, and it's something we all have, but it's not who we are. It's the egoic mind. We all live within us, we have all had living within us what Austin Powers called mini-me. It's a little bratty kid version of ourselves that we have accumulated over the years. Vernon Howard, a great metaphysical author of the 50s and 60s, had this book with this really highfalutin, important title called The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, very enticing title, makes you want to buy the book, right? But what he talked about pretty much in the whole book was the illusion of the ego. And his description of it was absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to paraphrase, but what he said was, we come into this life as innocent babies, like little sponges absorbing everything. Our sensory data is constantly bombarding us with sights, smells, sounds, touch, emotional things. And we begin to accumulate memories. Our brain stores these as neural connections, and these memories group into what he called beliefs. And those memories group into even bigger global beliefs. Here's an example of a global belief. People are fill in the blanks. This is a good thing. It's really worth examining. People are wonderful. People are amazing. People are evil. People are dishonest. People are trustworthy. People are not so trustworthy. Here's another one. Life is fill in the blanks. Life is amazing. Life is a gift. Life is hard. Life is, this was Woody Allen. Life is a meaningless valley of sorrows.
Oh, wow.
This is what Woody Allen's character's dad said to him. I mean, it was a comedy, right? So you get the point. But here's the thing, guys. We live with these global beliefs completely unexamined. Carl Jung said, unless we make the unknown in our minds known, it will run our lives and we will call it destiny. Wow. All that stuff going on in our subconscious is driving our behavior, but we think it's fate, karma, or destiny. Ernest Holmes was real big on this too. And he quoted Socrates quite often, the unexamined life is not worth living. You have to be aware. That's the first step toward enlightenment, is self-awareness. To be aware that this little bratty kid in the back of our minds, filled with memories that we accumulated at a very young age and formed into beliefs that we don't even know we have, and is driving our behavior. René Descartes, famous philosopher, once said, I think, therefore I am. Thought he really figured it out, right? But what he had really done is put into words the fundamental error of human living. If we equate thinking with being, in other words, we think our thoughts, that's me, that's my beliefs, that's who I am. This is the tyranny of the mind. This is the very thing that keeps us stuck at a lower level, is believing that our thoughts are who we are, our opinions. So, how do we get beyond that? The first thing is, we need to let go and observe. We need to be here now. It is always now. Past and future don't exist, except as memories or anticipation. But in reality, in this physical plane reality, now is all there is. Have you ever noticed, no matter where you go, there you are? So doesn't it make sense to give what you're doing at any given time your full attention? If you take care of the now and what you're doing in the now, the future will pretty much take care of itself. So how does one get present? How does one get into this now moment? How does one stop that incessant chatter of the mind? Well, don't try to stop your mind. It will say, I'm not going to stop. Who do you think you are? Because that's what the mind does. The mind is like a sausage machine. It just keeps cranking out thoughts. It's designed to help you survive, to keep you alive, to keep you safe. course, what it's really doing is keeping it stuck. So the mind will do that no matter what. How do you get beyond it? Well, Jean-Paul Sartre, another modern philosopher, took René Descartes' "I think, therefore I am" a step further. He said, I realize there's a part of me that can watch my thinking. That must be the deeper, truer aspect of myself. Have you guys ever done this? You're sitting there in traffic and you're stuck, and you're just kind of randomly musing and thinking about stuff, and there's some really random thought pops into your head. Something just completely off the wall. And you go, man, where did that come from? You ever done that?
Yeah.
Okay, when you're doing that, you're the Buddha. You're enlightened. You are watching your own mind. Now, of course, you'll go right back to thinking, but at that moment, when you took stock and said, wow, that was pretty off the wall, you have taken as Obi-Wan Kenobi said to Luke Skywalker, a small step into a much larger world. You have taken a step into the next level of consciousness. So, that's portal number 1 into the present moment. Observe your thoughts with a detached interest. Kind of like, you ever pull up to a railroad crossing and there's a train going by and you're watching it and it's going, and it's, oh look, there's an engine. Oh, there's some boxcars. Oh, there's a tanker car. Oh, there's a car with a bunch of cars on it. Oh, there's a caboose, right? You just kind of watch the cars go by, the arm lifts up, and you continue on your way. Now, we wouldn't sit there and judge the train cars. Well, I guess some people might, but you wouldn't say, I hate boxcars. God, when are they going to bring the caboose? I love the, oh, there's the caboose. Yay, caboose, We don't do that. Well, don't do that with your thoughts either. Let them go. There's a thought about my mom. Oh, there's a thought about Aunt Mary. Oh, hey, there's a thought about Jesus. Oh, there's a thought about Ernest Holmes. Hey, there's a thought about, and so it goes. It'll keep going. Once you are in that place of being the witness of your thoughts, you've taken a step into the next dimension. The second portal is feeling into the body. Body awareness is a really good way to get the mind to slow down. In most meditation practices, they will tell you, observe the breath. Feel the air going in, feel your lungs expanding, feel the air going out. It's really hard for the mind to keep going zip, 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 thought, 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 when you're breathing, if you're aware of your breath. Feel into your hands, your feet. Feel that life energy in your hands, the kind of tingling sensation. And then feel your entire body as a continuous field of energy. The mind slows down when you do that. The third thing, when you're with other people, how do you get present? Active listening. How many of us sit there listening to somebody just waiting to get a word in edgewise? You're not really listening, you're thinking about what you're going to say. I do it. But you know what helps? Is if you kind of mentally repeat what they're saying. You mentally repeat what they're saying. It's a really interesting thing that happens. You begin to pick up on subtext in what the person is saying, and maybe even have what might be even considered sort of a psychic understanding of this person. They're telling me everything's really, really good, but they're having an issue. They're having a health crisis. They're having a relationship crisis. You begin to get the subtext of that stuff if you listen really carefully. Or maybe things are really going well. The fourth portal, and this is a tough one, accept what is. Maybe you are having a health challenge, or a relationship challenge, or a financial issue. Accept it. Acknowledge it. Now, by accept, I don't mean acquiesce and give up. Because that's just another mental construct. Oh, well, I guess I don't have it in me to get above this challenge. No. Accept it. Acknowledge it. It's there. Take a deep breath, and now that you've accepted it, rather than getting angry about it or depressed about it, just by the simple act of acceptance and taking a pause, the mind will then come up with better creative solutions to the problem. It's amazing. Okay, so here I am. I'm on a dark, rainy, muddy road, and I'm stuck in the mud. Okay, I'm stuck in the mud. It's cold and raining outside. What should I do? Oh, I can call AAA. Well, what if you don't have any cell service? Okay, I can go out and take these mats that my feet are on and use them for traction under my tires. And then once I'm on my way, hopefully I won't get stuck in the mud again. I'll put those in the trunk and wash them when I get home. See, I mean, the mind will come up with good solutions to whatever your problems are if you start by acceptance rather than anger or depression or frustration. The fifth portal is meditation. We all know about that here. Thank God that early in life I found out about it. But with meditation, the whole, I don't like to say goal because I don't like to be goal-oriented in meditation, but the whole purpose of it is to get the mind to settle down. Because between the thoughts, we begin to become aware of that next dimension of consciousness, the one that witnesses, the one that feels the connection with the infinite. You know, Ernest Holmes wrote time and time again using that capital M, mind, and our connection to it. And you know, when I first got into this, I go, what the hell is he talking about? But then as I began practicing and getting deeper in my meditation, I began to get it. And ideas began to pop into my mind seemingly from out of nowhere. Good ideas, songwriting ideas, creative ideas, solutions to my problems. It's amazing. Everything is there. You just have to open yourself to it. And of course, the way you open yourself to it is to get your mind to shut the hell up for a minute and listen. The sixth portal, and thank God we all have this, though the most unconscious person on the planet has this: dreamless sleep. Every night, we are given a 4 or 5 hour reprieve from our thoughts. And you know what they say? No thoughts, no problems. When we're in that delta brainwave state, it's the slowest, it's like 0.2 cycles per second. In other words, it's like 10 seconds for one cycle of our brain. When we're there, we're basically zero brain activity. And this is why we don't remember it, but we do this every night. It's a great way for the body to heal. It's a great way for the mind to unreel and let go of all the stuff. And of course, the seventh portal, one we'll all have to face someday, is that one we call death. Now, like Ernest Holmes, I believe life is eternal. This body, this vehicle goes, and we go on to our next experience. Whatever that is, well, that's a whole other talk. But one thing that happens, and this has been told by countless people that have been on the other side and come back to tell the tale, is that you encounter a brilliant light. And the Buddha said that light is your original face, is the translation, your original face. You could say that's who you really are. You are that light, that ray of God that projects down into this body. Using the metaphor of God being the sun, we are all God's rays. And again, this could be a whole separate talk, but you know, just remember when that moment comes, as it will for all of us, get present. Merge with that light. Be in absolute blissful gratitude. Let go of everything that came before you. Let go of all your past and simply merge with the light. Now, if it's not really your time and you do come back, as many have, You will be a changed person. Everyone who's gone through that experience is a changed person. But if it's your time, you will have what they call in Tibet a good death. A death that takes you to the highest possible realm on the other side, if you get present with the light. So if you got nothing else from this talk, please remember that. News you can use. How are we doing on time here? I should probably wrap it up. Plato talked about a metaphor of the cave. Maybe you've heard this. He talks about most of us are like people chained to the wall of a cave. There's a fire in the middle of the cave, and we're looking at our shadows against the wall, thinking that those shadows, that's me. You could take the metaphor a little further and say, what if this cave was behind a waterfall? And you think this cave is all there is, and the waterfall, that incessant noise, the water. And then one day, the waterfall stops. Maybe there's a drought. Maybe they built a dam upstream. Who cares? But you look out, and oh my God, there's a whole world out there. Where's that been all my life? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, that whole world is on the other side of the waterfall of our incessant thoughts. With the constant noise of our minds, we are living a very, very small life as an ego. And if we can stop that incessant waterfall even for a minute, we will get a glimpse out into the larger world, the larger universe in this case. We get a glimpse of our connection to the infinite mind, the infinite life. Some final thoughts. Emerson, from his essay on self-reliance, one of my favorites. The roses under my window make no reference to former roses or to better ones. They are what they are. They exist with God today. There is no time to them. There is simply the rose. It is perfect in every moment of its existence. But human beings postpone or remember. They don't live in the present, but with a reverted eye, lament the past, or, heedless of the riches that surround them, stand on tiptoe to foresee the future. They cannot be happy or strong until they too learn to live with nature in the present beyond time. Thank you. Namaste.